All right, there is something I want to get out of the way, which is this is not in any way a drama video, a takedown video, none of that. This is not me going on here and saying, oh, the voice actors were horrible to work with, or oh, Jake was horrible. Blah, 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 blah. No. My experience working on Faraway Logs was a wonderful experience, and this is me reminiscing on it, giving some behind the scenes insight on like how things were and just generally what it was, like to work on a project like this, especially one that got so popular. So if you're here for drama or like tea or whatever, this is not that video. Because what happened was not dramatic in any way. Nothing bad happened. It's if you're looking for drama, it's a very boring story. But if you are just looking for general what happened and maybe want to get some cool insight into things, then stick around. Now, without further ado. When I was in middle school, I found out about a little game that was being developed called Omori. I, quite frankly, had no idea what it was about. All I knew was from the trailer that was around at the time, which contained very interesting and trippy imagery of children, and it had bright colors, and it had a song from Boen. And I was interested because it was a psychological horror game, and when I was in middle school, I had a great interest in specifically RPG Maker psychological horror games, and this reminded me of games that I absolutely loved, like Ebe and Alismere, which technically isn't an RPG Maker game, but and Yumeniki and other games like it. And so I followed it. And for years, I sort of heard nothing, and then we got a second trailer announcing that it was going to be on DS, which was huge. Years later, we hear nothing again. And then finally, when I am in high school, we finally get an actual release date for it. And I was so hyped, and then finally, in December of 2020, towards the end of my junior year, start of my senior year of high school, it finally comes out, and a friend of mine gifts it to me because he knew that I was waiting it for a long time, and he gifted it to me that Christmas. And I start to play it, and I finish, and I finally do end up finishing it in my senior year because I had an issue with like my computer at the time, so I couldn't play it for a while. But when I finally get my new computer and everything, I continue it, I finish it. I streamed a little bit of it on Twitch, but the VODs aren't there anymore. Unfortunately, I didn't think to save them. This is when I wasn't really used to streaming. So you're never going to see the footage of me crying about this game, unfortunately. But I finish it, and it fundamentally changes me as a person, that game. And I loved it. It's one of my favorite games to this day. On January 9th of 2023, in my freshman year of college, one of my favorite Omori animators at the time, Jake34, posted a now privated video saying that he was holding an audition for voice actors for his, at the time, newly started animated Omori series. And at the time, he used to voice act all of the characters, if I remember correctly, and, he was auditioning for them. And at the time, I auditioned for a bunch of small indie voice acting projects. A lot of them I didn't really get in, and a lot of them I did get in, but nothing really happened with them. And so I was like, you know what? Jake is one of my favorite animators, and if I am able to ever voice act for one of their creations, that'd be one of the highest honors for me. So I go in, and I end up auditioning for Aubrey, Kel, Basil, Mari, and of course, Sunny. Put in my auditions, and we wait. On January 24th, about day after auditions ended, I see two things. A message on Discord from Jake himself saying that I got the part, and an email from Casting Call Club saying that I also got the part. And mind you, I was notified of both things after I woke up from a nap. First off, the irony of that is not beyond me, that, you know, the fact that I got casted for Sunny, I found out I got casted for Sunny after I woke up from a nap. I still find that really funny. But also waking up from a nap and seeing that one of your favorite animators has casted you in their series. I thought I was dreaming, low-key. I didn't think anything was real for a second. I still can't believe that happened to this day. I still don't really believe it. But anyway, and so that was the day where me and all of the other talented voice cast of FARAWAY Logs find out that we all got our respective parts. And it wasn't until about I think a week or so after we got casted is when we started recording. I do want to preface this that none of the voice actors ever got paid, and that was something that, you know, was said, you know, up front, in the audition page, if I remember correctly, that you know, this was all very much a passion project for Jake, for everyone else involved. We were doing this just because we were fans of the game and we wanted to do something fun and cool. So none of us ever got paid for our work, but I don't mind it because, again, you know, Jake was upfront and honest about that from the beginning, and we all understood what we were getting into. So yeah. Recording, the process of recording itself was actually, it was a pretty lax process. Jake would give us due dates, but they were pretty reasonable due dates, and even he was very respectful of you know, things coming up and stuff and all of that. But even then, you know, all the voice actors, I think as far as I know, we got in our stuff pretty on time. You know, there was never anything where Jake was oh my god, you know, you are months late or something. It's no, it was, we all got it in pretty quick. And also I want everything to be clear, Jake was the one who did all of the script writing, all of the animating, all of the blender, because mind you, all of the background shots in FARAWAY Logs, that's all made in Blender, because Jake's insane. And is just an insanely talented person. But yeah, he did all of the audio editing, all of the animation, all of, you know, the Blender stuff, and all of, you know, the script writing too, and the directing, of course. He did all of that, you know. We as the voice cast were just the ones that gave that little spice of that last little spice of life. Working with the voice cast too was honestly amazing. They were such wonderful people, and we were all such fucking nerds. Oh my god. I'm pretty sure we're all probably still nerds. And we still try and keep in contact with one another. We definitely don't talk with each other as much as we used to. And I think that has, you know, part and parcel have to do with you know, FARAWAY Logs isn't really in development anymore, and also the Omori fandom isn't as alive as it used to be, though I think it might have a sort of mini revival thanks to the whole cafe thing that's going on right now. But you know, when we were working together, it was honestly such a great energy. We were just so psyched to be on this project, and we would constantly just you know, talk about Omori and other things, and you know, some of the voice actors, you know, this was their first time doing anything related to voice acting. If I remember correctly, I think the voice actors for both Kel and Aubrey were fairly well-seasoned voice actors, and then he had me who was kind of you know, just kind of oh, I've done some things but nothing big. And then I think for everyone else it was the first time voice acting and stuff, or voice acting in something more, I guess, quote unquote official. So it was like, it was this very well like balanced cast of like, you had some more seasoned voice actors who could give like tips and stuff, and you had others who was just like, but in the end it was, we were all just doing it for fun. And I think that just created such a wonderful vibe where it was like, there wasn't really this pressure of like, oh my god, we have to like make this perfect, right? It's no. And I think it also helps that like the series itself is sort of does revel in that sort of like, because it's the whole concept is that, it's instead of, if Basil had like a Polaroid camera, what if instead he had like something like a, like an old VHS taping camera? And so like, it does sort of revel in that sort of awkwardness, and that imperfection that like, a lot of like tapes made by kids are, so I think that really added to it, where it was like, a lot of takes didn't really necessarily have to be perfect. I mean, that doesn't mean that like everything was like a one take wonder or something. We still like, did things professionally, like, if Jake told us like, oh, can you retake this line, then we'd be like, yeah, we'll retake the line. But I think it definitely, what I'm trying to say is I think it definitely helped in making the environment really just kind of chill and just really fun to work on. It also helped that Jake as well. So, and this kind of segues into my next little thing and a little and sort of behind the scenes things. So Jake also, he did this really cool thing where he really wanted us to give him script ideas and stuff, because for most part he did have the entirety of Faraway Logs written out, if I remember correctly. But there were still like some details and stuff where he was like, hey, if you want to like add in a detail or add an idea that you could think be in an episode, like send it to the script ideas chat, and like, I'll see if I want to add it in or not. And so that really created this great atmosphere where we were really like kind of like almost kind of a bit more involved in sort of the whole process of creating this series than I think typical, and I think most voice actors are, because like sometimes if we gave Jake an idea, he'd be like, oh my god, that's a great idea, can I use that in an episode? And we'd be like, yeah, sure. And while it's unfortunate that the series ended so early, because I bet so many people have had so many good ideas, because I remember specifically, I do remember it was Quartz, the voice actor behind Hero. He had an idea that did end up getting implemented into an episode, and I had two ideas. One of them ended up getting implemented. The other didn't. I don't know if Jake would have ever implemented it or not. And even then, even if it didn't get added into an episode, it was still just really fun. It was just this really fun, like, creative exercise of like sort of like make something like in character and or in the Omori universe. It was just really fun. So even if whether it got implemented into the series or not, it was still just a lot of fun to do. But I will sort of segue into some behind the scenes stuff, specifically what did I record for script ideas. So specifically, and this is something that people noticed and they were half right, half wrong. And this is a detail that makes me so giddy whenever I think about it. So specifically, one of the ideas that I implemented was implemented into one of the secret episodes titled Guilt specifically. And I remember looking in the comments and there was one comment, and this person that I will be censoring just in case. But this person, they were half right in saying that Duet is in the background. And I think there were also a couple of other comments that were saying like, oh, Duet's in the background, but it sounds weird. And that's the fact that, and this was the idea I pitched, that's because that's Sunny singing Duet over Mari's dead body. And I'll show you the original sort of recording I did for this concept here. Mari, please. And so I sent that to the script ideas chat, and Jay told me, and he was like, hey, can I have this audio of like the audio of just you singing without the cicadas in the background? And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, I want to put this into an episode. I just don't need the cicadas. And I was like, fuck yeah, do it. And so very faintly, you can hear that in the background, and it makes me so happy because it adds such a creepy atmosphere. And it just makes me so happy that I made so many people sad and traumatized. You're welcome. So, and this will also segue into, this was my second idea for it, and it was the slightly longer thing, where I really just kind of wanted to mess around with a lot of sort of like audio sort of design and stuff, and so it's not perfect. I'm still relatively, I mean, it's definitely not perfect. I'm not as proud of it as I was then when I first made it, but I still sort of like what I was going for, and my idea was sort of like kind of taking a peek into Sunny's mind and sort of like just the chaos of the guilt and everything, and so this is that.
Yeah, I'll just leave it here. Hey, hero. How was the trip? Did you have fun? Hey, guys.
Yeah, that was fun.
Is this one sad too? The one you're reading?
Is it recording?
Yeah, it is.
Yay!
Yeah, we should do an introduction video.
Learning a new song for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Still working on the song.
What's cooking good looking?
Omori! You can ask Sunny to play the song with you?
I tried, but he gets really nervous when I ask.
She's still practicing.
Hero! Ow! Look at that!
You're nothing.
What do I like to do? I play the violin.
Wake up! Please!
Die.
Hey, Sunny. How are you doing?
Good.
Where's Marty?
Violin! You never deserved her. And also, I just want to point out, Snail-kun, the voice actor behind Basil, he also did an amazing job in that guilt episode, and was really, I mean Basil's really kind of the main star of FARAWAY Logs when you think about it, and I think it's so much fun because it provides such a unique perspective, especially when you start to get to things like, you know, when Basil found Sunny and all that. So yeah, and just, God, just huge props to all the voice actors. God, they're all so good. And it was such an honor to work with them all. I really do hope that they're like doing other things now, because they were really good. And even if it's not voice acting, I just wish them all well. And I wish Jay well as well. But yeah, so those are my two script ideas. I think to this day I find Mari the more effective, the Mari one, the more effective one out of the two. But I still like them both because it just, you know, I hear them and it just reminds me of this whole thing, and it makes me very happy. It now sort of comes to the thing of why exactly did FARAWAY Logs end? And that's because Jay really just got burnt out with everything. He still loved Omori in the game, but he sort of fell out of love with the fandom. And so it was just this thing where he was just really burnt out, and he, just wasn't as motivated to work on the project as he was. And so he told us that, and we all respected that decision. As to why he maybe didn't inform the YouTube audience, I don't know. He told us, the voice actors at the very least, that was nice. As to why he maybe didn't really notify his YouTube audience, I don't know. Maybe he thought about it and was sort of putting it off and eventually forgot about it. Again, I don't know. But even then, I still respect his decision in leaving, because, trying to force yourself to trudge through a project when you're not really loving it anymore, it is better to just kind of leave it. And then there comes the question of, will Faraway Logs ever continue? Probably not, if I am being honest. I mean, at least me, I would be more than happy to work on this series at the drop of a hat if Jay were ever to tell us. Or even if it wasn't Faraway Logs, if Jay invited me to do any other series, I'd be honored and would definitely do it. But it's just the thing of, the voice actors, we aren't really in contact anymore. We are all still in the Discord together, so we could easily contact one another. But we haven't, no one has really, we haven't really been talking or anything, and that's just kind of how life is, you kind of just, slowly go your separate ways. And you just do your own thing. And so even if Jay were like, hey, I want to pick up Faraway Logs again, there isn't really a guarantee that all the voice actors would want to, or even would be able to do that. And so, as much as I would love to, in a perfect world, I just don't think it'll happen, unfortunately. And I know that's heartbreaking for a lot of people to hear, and it's heartbreaking for me too, but it's the truth. And sure, it might be a little sad that we'll probably never get any more Faraway Logs content, but I am still really happy with the time I spent working with Jay and everyone else, and the things that we did. I'm still really happy with it, even if it didn't get finished. I can still safely say that I am proud to have worked on the series, and I think everyone else is proud to have worked on this series. At least I hope, because they should be, Jay included. And also, please don't harass any of the voice actors. Don't harass Jay, please. The series is done, and there's no need to harass anyone to have it continue or anything. But thank you for listening. I hope this answered at least most of your questions. And thank you for watching Faraway Logs, I suppose. Yeah.